Hello and welcome to That British Homestead. Today, well, we're going to prick out some of our seeds. So let's get started. So this time of year is super important for getting our autumn garden in. And I've got some Chinese cabbage here that needs pricking out. And it's going to be super exciting because I love Chinese cabbage. And I'm really hoping for a really good Chinese cabbage year this year. So we can make some kimchi, which will be super cool, wouldn't it? So here I've got a little box of 6 even, and I'm just gonna make little holes in it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm literally going to lift the Chinese cabbage bodily out of it with, I'm just using a screwdriver, and you can see that the root ball is real nice there. Make a hole to incorporate the root ball and then just squish it under just like that. So depending on how big the root ball is how we're going to be doing this, but like literally just putting it under and lifting it bodily out like so. And as you can see, getting most of the root ball out in one piece like so, and then they're going to, once they're a little bit stronger, they can go straight into the garden. This is not a frost hardy type of cabbage, so you do need to harvest it before the last frost. As you can see, just putting that in there and firming it down. Hopefully I'll have quite a few of these because these are a good one to have fermented over the winter period. I do have quite a few of these bad boys. Okay. Not looking bad. So I'm probably going to do that. Well, I am going to do that in these ones as well. The chicks are super excited because I just went really close and pulled a bag out. They're still in their brooder at the time being. It's getting to the point where they're almost big enough to go into the outside brooder, which will be so much nicer because I way prefer them outside than inside. But I just don't want to rush them because it's still a little bit chilly at night time. So until it becomes like, there's like 2 ways of doing it. When it becomes like, oh, it's just too much, then you go outside. That's when the perfect time to set them out. There we go. So doing the same, just lifting these bodily out like so, and then putting them down nicely deep into the soil. And the soil is slightly damp, but not that damp. So just going underneath the root ball, lifting it out, and then dropping it. Dropping it is crucial for success. Oh, I'm so excited about having these in. I will have to, if I don't grow these at home, I will have to cover them up at the allotment, on the basis that the pigeons love Chinese cabbage. Green, what are they called? White butterflies. The little green caterpillars that you have. They will absolutely love these. So I am going to make sure that I cover them. Or you can spray them with DT, which is a nematode, which just gives the caterpillars a bellyache. So I might do that again this year because it works really effectively. It stops them being able to feed on your little seedlings. So when they're tangled like that, you just kind of wiggle them like a necklace. Like imagine if you've got 2 necklaces that are tangled together and you just kind of wiggle them apart. That is, as a mother of an almost 9-year-old, I spend a lot of time detangling necklaces and regretting that I bought them. You know, probably as my mum did for me. That's like the motion it reminds me of. You just, that sort of emotion. I'm going to make sure that I keep these super well watered in the garden, which is really good because lately it's been raining loads, and apparently it's going to rain tonight, which means it's going to be perfect time to sort of prick these out. and have them out in the garden so that they get really well watered, and there's no better water than rainwater. Got another one just filled with multi-purpose compost. I'm just going to go ahead and fill this. I'm doing the same technique, little hole, plonk it in. And the more you do this, the easier it becomes each time you need to do it. Does that make sense? Like every year, isn't it 10,000 hours makes you an expert? So every year you get a little bit closer. Or you get better at not failing instead of better at growing, maybe. So I'm just going to take all of them out. I'm going to try to leave one per cell over here as well. Oh, I'm doing such an awful job here. What did I just say? Getting better at not failing. There we go. Pretty sure I killed that one. No, it still has quite a decent root ball on it. I think it's best to take those two out. There's no point of fighting them. 2 necklaces. Holding it by the leaves looks brutal, but I promise you it isn't. As long as you haven't got any weight behind it, it's fine. What you don't want to do is hold it by the stem, because the stem is surprisingly fragile in these. So you either hold it by the root ball, or you can sort of maneuver it by the leaves, but just try not to snap the stems, because that's it. Pretty much the only way you can kill these is by manhandling the stems. So I've got it by the root ball, little hole, hold it with the leaves. This is a good example because it's like the perfect size to be transplanting. Then that one can stay in there. Make sure it's tuck it in, and that one just tuck it in as well, which is good. So this has a few there. They're going to be so much happier now that they've got a bit of room. There we go. You can use the back of a spoon as well. I have one over here. So you can use a spoon as well. You can buy a special thing to do it with, but I'm thinking, what's the point of... Oh, there's one in there already. Whoops, doodles. What's the point of doing that if you can do something that you've already got, you know? Gardening can be super expensive if you allow it to be, or it can be super cheap, you know? There's 2 ways about it, and there's no point of spending a load of money if you don't need to, in my humble opinion. So I always try as much as I'm able to do things cheaply, and then I have more money to buy things like trees, which is what I want to do. I love the fact that I just have not labelled any of these, and I'm like, oh, I'll just remember, but I've still got some more to prick out. Look. It gets it out quite nicely. I think these are Chinese cabbage as well. Obviously, I really wanted some Chinese cabbage. So my ducks were, were eating my raspberries as I walked out, and they know they're not meant to be doing that. So as soon as they see me, they're like, la 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 la. We weren't eating raspberries. What raspberries? Little tykes. That's them going back over to the raspberries because they think I can't see them. Doesn't bother me too much. At least they have nice eggs. Right, baby? Baby's come in to check on his chicks, haven't you? He likes just looking at them. Oh, look at that little spoon. The spoon is easier. Ah, he's bored now. He always, with Bailey, I've found he doesn't like it when you exclude him. So if you exclude him from this room, it'll be like his mission to get in here. But now he's allowed in here, he doesn't care. He's like, there's nothing going on in here. And it's quite tempting with a bigger dog to be like, right, we've got chicks in here, you can't come in. But we've found just including him is the way. And he'll come over and he'll smell the brooder and he'll look at them and then he'll be like, you're actually really boring. And then off he'll go with his life. I've literally no idea what these are. They're a form of cabbage though. Or at least they look cabbagey. That one looks really good. That was fine. You take some of these out. There we go. There we go. Look how great they look. So it's super important to have for seeds to have their own space, because if not, it really stunts their growth. And you can see that if you've actually ever left any seedlings in their pots and planted some of them out, you'll see that there's a massive difference between the growth of the ones that are planted out and the ones that are still in the pot. And it's really fundamental that they have enough space, because obviously they get all their nutrients through their roots, and the more space they have to grow their roots, the more nutrients they're able to actually get. So it makes it really, really important. So the longest plane ever, isn't it? So it makes it really, really important that you do that. So now that I've planted these out into different pots, as long as I keep them really moist and make sure that I'm watering them continuously, they will be growing exponentially now. Once they've grown to about a couple of inches high, I will go ahead and plant them out. I don't know if I'll plant them out down the allotment yet or in my front garden. The issue I have in my front garden is foxes, and obviously foxes poo on everything, and I just will not eat a Chinese cabbage if it's been pooed on by a fox. It's not a bit of me. But yeah, they're apart from that, it's working quite well. I'll probably put them down the allotment. I think I have some gaps and I can just go ahead and net it. So that does make it quite interesting and good to use. I have lost a couple of cabbages yesterday. I don't know what happened, but something's got in there and eaten a load of my cabbages. Hopefully they'll come back. If not, I can go ahead and replace them with these, which will be quite exciting, won't it? It's just making sure that we have enough of everything going forward. I'm also going to spend a little bit of time looking through my seed collection and seeing what I have left to sow. This month, I said in a couple of videos ago, that this is the first month where you start being like, no, I can't sow that. It's going to be like impossible for me to sow it. And it does get to the point where you're like, oh my goodness, like summer feels like it's running out. And the thing is with being a gardener is that you're always looking forward. you're not really in the now as much as you're looking into the future to see what you need to be doing. And I feel like this time of year, it just feels like I'm getting ready for fall. I don't know if you guys feel like that. Do you feel like that? Maybe it's just me. But yeah, I noticed that that's what I'm doing more and more now. And it is interesting to think about it because, you know, you've got lots of people that are just enjoying the summer sun. And I think as gardeners, we're always one step ahead of everybody else thinking, okay, what do I need to do now? Now, July is one of them awkward months. It's technically summer, isn't it? But it's also very much like there's not that much to do. So sewing is a really great thing to prioritise this time of year. So I'm going to make sure that I'm doing that. However, next month I'm going to be so running off my feet with the harvest. We've already got tons of harvest coming in, and it's going to be really important that we have all of the harvest in and stored before it starts to spoil. So that's going to be my priority next month. And honestly, the whole of August kind of goes in a blink of an eye because you're harvesting so much, and because it's the summer holidays, lots of people are away. Some of my friends are away for the summer holidays, so I'm actually tending their plots, harvesting their crops and storing their crops away around for them, so they, when they come back, they'll have a load of pickles and frozen tomatoes and frozen beans, etc. to come back to, which would be super cool. And also they've got a load of stuff going to seed, so I'll collect the seeds for them and dry them and things like that. And I've started to dry out their onions and things like that for them, which you can imagine, having 2 allotment plots is a lot of work, but having 3 is like a nightmare. So yeah, I'm very busy. I'm like full pedal, but it is a priority to make sure that I have everything I need so that when it comes to autumn and over winter, I'm still getting that regular harvest. Like maybe once a week will be fine, but I just need to make sure that I'm doing that so that when it comes to the autumn, I can flip the beds, and those of the beds that I'm not using are productive, because that's probably one of the main things. I really want to put up my polytunnel over the next sort of autumn, so that I have that, and I'm going to go ahead and plant that up. I think that'd be really cool to have that all done, and I might even do things like carrots, etc. in there, and perhaps that'll be a really good harvest for me. Don't know. I have grown them quite successfully in the greenhouse over winter, and beetroots and things like that, and it might be an interesting way of getting those root vegetables that I kind of struggle with in the summer heat, because they dry out so quickly. So maybe that'll be something that's quite interesting. Also, it's going to be a struggle, isn't it, going down to the allotment? I normally go in the morning and it's going to be dark. Oh, it's so nice, isn't it, this time of year where it's light all the time. I really find it so lovely this time of year. It's always sunshine. And the days are nice and long. The plants are really benefiting from it, and I've got some absolutely gorgeous plants going on, just waiting for them last little steps to get in so that we can start harvesting. The sweet corn looks really good this time of year. The tomatoes look really good this time of year. Everything looks really good. It's just waiting for it to ripen. So like I said, July is an awkward time where you're kind of like everything you were harvesting in June, like asparagus is now finished, but you're still kind of like getting a little bit in, but waiting for the big harvests like the tomatoes when it's gonna be mad, etc. I do see a lot of you guys have tons and tons of squashes coming in. I'm so jealous. We've got a few cucumbers coming in. Well, I got a bucket of cucumbers, which is quite cool, but really we're just waiting and seeing what's happening with that. Strawberries starting to come in again, which is really good. They've done their runners for the year, so we've got new plants for next year, and now they're starting to reproduce, which is fantastic. Reproduce is in reproduce, not reproduce as in reproduce, because they've just done that with the runners. But yeah, it's super exciting, and we're going to be making a load of jam and things like that with that, and it'll be super cool. Crumbles and things like that. My family love crumble, especially strawberry crumble, and we only have strawberry crumble in strawberry season. So my daughter's eating strawberries like they're going out of fashion because she's so excited that now it's strawberry, and they don't taste good unless it is strawberry season. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.